Hello everyone, this is AG47 Liberty, and today I wanted to discuss on the United States, and I want you to determine for yourself, after I read the Communist Manifesto to you, how far down the road of communism has the United States gone. So, let's get right to it. I got this off the web. There's many copies of this. So let's see what Karl Marx, one of the founders, him and Engels, are the two founders of communism. Let's see what his manifesto has to say. Okay. Karl Marx describes in his Communist Manifesto the 10 steps necessary to destroy a free enterprise system and replace it with a system of omnipotent government power so as to effect a communist socialist state. Okay? Think just collectivism, because all these systems that rely on big government, or to use big government to force their way onto people, it's all collectivism. It's all tyrannical. Okay, another thing to remember, Karl Marx is creating Communist Manifesto, designed these planks as a test to determine whether society has become communist or not. If they are all in effect and in force, then the people are practicing communism. Okay? So, number one, what's the first plank? Abolition of private property and the application of all rents of land to public purposes. Think about that. Abolition of private property and the application of all rents of land to public purposes. The best example I can think of here is your property tax. If you fail to pay that property tax, they will take your house. Even if it's paid for, they don't care. You are a renter. You do not own your house. You do not own your land. You are renting it. Just try not paying and see what happens. Okay? They do this in the name of the poor. But let's say you lose your job. And you can't pay you can't pay their property tax. Well, all of a sudden, not only are you jobless, but now you're homeless. At least before you could put a roof over your head. But not anymore. Now you're just plain poor. You're a street person. But they love street people. That's why they like making so many of them. That's like a funny one with God. They say God must have loved the common man. That's why he made so many of them. Well, God must love the poor. I mean, that's why government must love the poor. That's why they make so many of them. 2. The second plank, a heavy progressive or graduated income tax. Well, anybody who pays an income tax in a year, like myself, they know darn well what this means. The more you make, the more they take. Okay, again, refer to the other one. Government must love the poor. That's why they're making so many of them. Number 3, abolition of all rights of inheritance. Yes, you pay taxes on your money your entire life, any of your savings, anything you've managed to save away. And at the end of the day, once you die, the government comes in and claims it. Claims as much as they really want. Okay? 4, confiscation of the property of all immigrants and rebels. Think eminent domain. Think any drug law. Think any law that claims to be able to call a person a terrorist because they don't agree with the government. Okay, remember that movie Enemy of the State, right? Enemy of the state. What is an enemy of the state? A person who does things the government doesn't like. That you're an enemy of the state. So since the government likes to collectivize and control everything, that means they don't like freedom, they don't like liberty. So if you're a liberty-minded person, you're an enemy of the state. Prepare for your land to be confiscated. 5, centralization of credit in the hands of the state by means of a national bank, Federal Reserve, with state capital and exclusive monopoly. Think paper money they take off a printing press, or even worse now, they're just computer digits. And yes, you cannot compete with them. Think Van Nuthouse. He was actually using truly constitutional money, silver and gold. They threw him in jail for counterfeit. The Federal Reserve prints pieces of paper backed by nothing. It's only a promise of the government. That is not even constitutional. That is counterfeit. Everybody in the Federal Reserve should be in jail. at the very least. If you go back to the Coinage Act, the actual Coinage Act, for the penalty for adulterating or counterfeiting was death. I believe that law is still on the books. Ben. 6. Centralization of the means of communications and transportation in the hands of the state. Think about it. If you want to do a business, or a business with radio, a business with TV, you want to do your own cab business or bus line business, you first must get permission by the means of a license from the government. If you don't get the license, you can't open a business. A license means, if someone gives you a license to do something, it means it's a privilege. So the government is giving you the privilege of starting a business. So how can we be a free market, free society if you have to ask permission to open a business or create your own wealth? 7. Extension of factories and instruments of production owned by the state. The bringing into cultivation of wastelands and the improvement of the soil generally in accordance with a common plan. Again, there's that word plan. Anytime you hear the word plan, that's socialism. Out here in Nevada, they have something called the Desert Act, where you can go out and claim some land and cultivate it for agriculture. Now, the desert isn't the best place for agriculture because there's a lack of water. But what we are good at is mining. Now, they do everything in their power to stop mining, but they'll let you go farm land. The best way to use land is its best economical use, which out here it is mining, not farming. The government, gotta love them. 8. Equal liability of all labor. Establishment of industrial armies, especially for agriculture. Alright, this is a good one. Remember, when Obama got elected, he wanted to build, what were those called? Those brigades, those drafting volunteers. Drafting volunteers. There's some double speak for you. Drafting volunteers to go do the crappy jobs. I guarantee, it sounds romantic, but I guarantee you they will give you every crappy job, give you the crappiest living conditions, and your food, if they bother to give you any, will be crappy. I know this because the Soviets did this. I studied in the Soviet Union for 3 years. I got to, not 3 years, 3 months. I got a taste of it. Believe me, it was bitter, and you don't want it. You do not want it. I had some friends over there who had to go on these brigades, and they would send you far away to desolate lands with crappy food, crappy shelter, and you wouldn't see anybody for a long time. And if you happen to get killed while you're out there doing this work, because it's often dangerous, oh well, you're dead. Alright, the state does not claim responsibility for anything. Alright. Number 9, combination of agriculture with manufacturing industries. Gradual abolition of distinction between town and country by more equitable distribution of population over the country. Think anything that has to do with zoning. Okay? Like that Desert Act. Alright? Any kind of zoning. They want to spread everything out. Okay. And they don't want you loyal to your town. They just want to make you one big group, thinking one big people, one big way. Well, that's going to be kind of hard here in the U.S., but they're going to try anyway. They're going to try to make you... What's funny is they want to try to make you think we're all the same, but yet keep us divided by our differences. Oh, 10. Free education for all children in public schools. Cross it out, public, throw in government in front of schools. These are government schools. So if you go to a government school, what do you think they're going to preach? They are going to preach how wonderful government is. And notice how I use the word preach, because they want you to believe in government, and not in God, and not in yourself, and not in the glory of what you can produce yourself without their quote-unquote aid. Okay. That's it. That's the 10 right there. So it's up for you to decide exactly how far down the road communism we are. I believe we're about 95% of the way there. Right now they're going for the final thrust. They want to take our guns away unconstitutionally, treasonously. And if they do that, then we will be 100% of the way there. People, this is where you got to stand, right here. This is it. And anyway, my sign-off notice is, everybody trust in God. Everyone else pays in silver.